The way the league is forming makes us all start to change the way we look at traditional bigs. Some get the respect for being at the forefront of the change, but some don't, and for Giannis Antetokounmpo, he is one of those that garners a lot of disrespect when it comes to what he does on the floor. From being one of the most dominant forces in the league offensively, to then flip sides and be a defensive monster, Giannis plays with such a high intensity, and when you match that with his size, he becomes very hard to slow down. Some will say all he does is run and dunk, which takes no actual skill. But if you study Giannis closely over the past couple years, you would notice that not only he improved in most physical aspects on the court, but his mentality has shifted as well. Before the Milwaukee Bucks championship run, Giannis was still trying to solidify himself to be amongst the top players, but now we all see that Giannis is one of a kind and has that destroy all mentality when he steps on the hardwood. 2-time MVP, 6-time All-Star, 6 All-NBA team selections, 5 All-Defensive Team selections, most Defensive Player of the Year award, and most of all, an NBA champion. Giannis has elevated his game to a whole nother level, and when we talk about players not having skill, then Giannis should not be in that conversation. As the beginning of the season is getting started, Giannis should have a huge year and pick up exactly where he left off, putting up averages of nearly 30 points, 11.6 rebounds, and 5.8 assists, while shooting 55% from the field in the 2021-22 season. Giannis was in the race to win the MVP once again, and playing at this level going into his 10th season, I honestly don't see him slowing down. When you see a bull coming at you, what is the first thing you would try to do? Well, I would hope move, because that's what most players do when Giannis comes down the lane at those high speeds. Using his long strides to beat defenders down the court and use his length as well to stretch out and finish the bucket, it's best that you try to kill that momentum before it shifts in his favor. By the time Rudy wants to stand his ground, Giannis is already in the Euro motion, goes through the contact and finishes the and one. Seeing a near 7-footer push up the floor at this pace is special to see, as most bigs can't control the handle enough or move this fast up the court to go finish through the wall of defenders. Getting out on the break after steals, off rebounds, or just off the inbound, Giannis is a threat even 90 feet from the basket to go score at the rim. After Holiday tips it over to Giannis, once passing half court, he changes directions quickly on the cross, leaving Biyombo behind, and rises high over JaVale, outstretching that left hand to lay it off the glass. Scoring off the fast break is one of the most effective ways to rack up the points, and Giannis converted 71% of his 52 running layups in the 21-22 season, making him nearly unguardable on the break. But let's say the defense slows him down and makes him create something for himself in the half court, then Giannis can implement his footwork, agility, and brute force to go finish at the rim. Banking down low with the bigs night in and night out is a daunting thing for most, but Giannis invites the physical play and dominates more times than not. Sure, this is exactly where people try to diminish his talent and say that it takes no skills to go convert at the basket because of his size, but it's way more that goes into it than you think. The improved footwork and ability to be elusive on his drives is amazing for his game, as it will help limit getting those charge calls and give him a better angle to finish at the basket. Example A, Giannis sails his drive going left. As K slides over to stop him, he spins off, takes the hit while going up, and finishes the and one. Example B, Giannis takes the smaller guard and Curry off the dribble baseline, and watch as Drummond rotates down to help, Giannis quickly euros past him and elevates to slam this home. With improved footwork, it makes Giannis harder to stay in front of, and when you pair that with his control and force when he's on his way to the basket, things can get quite scary for the defense. On all layup attempts last season, Giannis made 63.6% of his 442 attempts, and this is the main bread and butter of his game. You can throw the doubles at him, bigger bodies, and all-around scheme to keep him out of the paint, but Giannis' relentlessness to keep attacking eventually grants him a breakthrough. The smaller Keesler Edwards doesn't bother Giannis at all on this drive, and going through 3 defenders, he rises up and slams it all over them. An elite slashing big isn't something that often comes around, as it takes a decent handle, great body control, and a high level of finishing. Giannis is becoming more creative in his ways to score at the rim, but that's not the only aspect where his game is improving. Giannis is starting to develop a stronger mid-range jumper, converting at a 41% rate last season, which will make the defense have to step out further, and will open up the floor even more for him to go attack the basket. The biggest knock on his game was that although he could go finish at the rim, he has no shooting touch. But now, not only is Giannis looking more comfortable and fluid when shooting, this will also raise the level of respect the defense will have to show him. It's pretty unstoppable when Giannis takes one strong dribble into your body on the post up, spins off that right shoulder fading back to knock it down over a heavy contest. Taking more shots from the outside is a step in the right direction for Giannis, and as he gets in his groove after seeing a couple fall, he starts to showcase his decent handle to stall defenders out before rising over them. Getting Tobias Harris on this switch, Giannis sails the drive right using the in and out and snatches back with the behind the back. This sizes him back up with this through the legs before elevating over Harris to knock it down. Now ask yourself this, how many bigs in the game do you see doing this while still being a force in the inside? It's honestly not many in the league who can pose a large threat at doing so. Exploring this side of his game more only helps him not have to start his game from the inside and work to the outside, as he can catch further out instead and have the option to put it on the deck and score at the rim, pull up for the shot, or find open 3-point shooters when the defense collapses. Diversifying his game, being able to shoot from the mid-range and even draining some threes here and there, this will start to open up the backdoor cuts and more space for guys to slash through the lane. The IQ and court vision for Giannis has improved drastically, as now, unlike years prior, the defense is really scheming up ways to stop him by using traps, doubles, and zones, but Giannis is getting better at making them pay for leaving an open man on the floor. The 5 assists per game mark might not seem like a lot, but being a more willing and accurate passer, Giannis threw 11.4 potential assists per game. His height gives him the advantage to see over defenders, and since most doubles come when he is working out the post area or driving to the paint, the perimeter is usually wide open, granting the best look a teammate could have all game. Commanding a ton of defensive attention isn't an uncommon thing for very talented bigs, but becoming a good facilitator despite all the things thrown at you is a very special skill. Affecting the game in many ways, not just offensively, but when you flip to the defensive side, Giannis is a freak athlete and can make converting around the paint for the offense very difficult. Being switchable through 1 through 5, there's not many more versatile defenders around the league. Now this isn't to say that Giannis is stepping out to the perimeter every single possession and locking down every guard through all their combos, or even saying that he's locking down every big man on their post-ups, but Giannis can move his feet quick enough to keep guards in front of him at most times, and he's pretty strong enough to hold his own down low versus the bigs. Playing the passing lanes with his outstretched hands, utilizing the length and his speed as well, is a huge key for him to go convert at the other end, but if he gambles and misses, then his recovery speed is second to none. Chasing down defenders and swatting it out the air just ruins the offense confidence, as they see their ball either careening off the glass or colliding with the popcorn in the stands. A force like this defensively strikes fear into opposing teams' offense at all times, and I mean at 6'11", 240 pounds moving like this, who else wouldn't be a little hesitant to try to go score over him? This Milwaukee Bucks team fell short of their goal last year to win the championship, but with the team fully healthy this season, things should be looking pretty bright. Every year, Giannis becomes more dominant and expands his game to be harder to guard. The critics will continue to say Giannis has no skill and that he isn't that great of a player, but trust me, if a lot of people had the same height and the same size, they still wouldn't be able to do the things he does on the floor. With the 2022-23 season underway, a lot of players should have an amazing year, and I'm excited to see what's to come. For Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks, the sky is the limit, and with the sky being the finals, Giannis is a great player to lead you there. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch this Ja Morant vs Trae Young matchup and pick who you would build around, or go watch this Kyrie Irving analysis detailing just how great his game is. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.